All right, Nick, let's talk about the Green Bay Packers. Packers coming into this draft, number 23 overall pick. What do? They go out and get themselves a receiver with some elite speed, a really fast guy to open up the top of defenses. I think this is a really great pick. Matthew Golden out of Texas for the Green Bay Packers. People are talking about it. People on the team saying, hey, do we have a number one receiver? We need to go out and get a guy that can help this receiver room. It was widely known. Green Bay goes out, addresses it in the draft, and get this first receiver they've drafted in the first round since I believe 2002. Aaron Rodgers probably, not very happy at home right now. He's saying, "Hey, why can't you get me that?" But Jordan Love, he's the guy. He gets the receiver. Let's look at this guy's just overall measurables and break them down a little bit, and then we'll talk more about it on the other side. So right here we got Matthew Golden coming out of Texas, big time program, doing a lot of really great things. Great competition, 5'11, 191. Really had some great speed, athleticism score of 87, production score of a 74. Very productive, very quick, very athletic. I think this is a really interesting pickup here for the Packers. But again, that 4.29 40, really like that aspect here to stretch defenses. Let's go to our second graphic, though. This one showing a little bit of deeper dive on him, player bio in 2022. He played 11 games, 8 starts, did a lot of great stuff, 7 receiving touchdowns there, and great in the kick return game as well. I think that's something that they could look at going forward. 2023, he tied the team lead for 6 receiving touchdowns that year, started 9 games. Then again in 2024, he led the team, 987 receiving yards there, 9 receiving touchdowns, started all 16 games, put in the injury concerns he had back in 2023 with the foot injury to bed. This guy was an absolute stud, really quick, really fast. I think this is a great pickup for the Green Bay Packers here. Nick, I'm curious what your thoughts are on this one. But before we get to you, Packers fans, in the comment section below, let us know. What do you think? It's the first time you've seen a receiver in the first round in a very long time. How does it make you feel? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Do you wish it would have been someone else? Let us know your overall thoughts on this pick here for the Packers in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about this latest out of Green Bay?
I think it's a really good value move. In fact, it's a good kind of combination of fit, need, and value. The Packers needed another wide receiver. They needed a legit dude. They needed a guy that could be a number one or at least close to a number one target for Jordan Love. They basically are a roster at wide receiver full of a bunch of really solid number twos. Not to, be mean to any of those guys, but it's just the reality. You look at a guy in Golden who has the chance to be kind of the explosive speedster number one, right? The way Tyreek Hill was the number one with the Chiefs and now is with the Dolphins. But now we don't know if Golden will be as good as Tyreek Hill, but that's what the Packers here are trying to emulate. And it's not a bad strategy. And going back to the value, there's a lot of people that had Golden going as high as number 12 in the draft here. So we're talking about the Packers getting a guy who could have gone in the high teens just outside the top 10 at 23. That's good value. Depending on the big board, some people have him listed inside the top 20. Some people have him in the early 20s. I think this is a really good value pickup here by the Green Bay Packers organization. But I also think it's very important that they're going after giving Jordan Love what he needs to be successful. And you brought up the Aaron Rodgers joke. That's kind of a little bit of a meme. But the reality is they did not give Aaron Rodgers in the peak of his career enough firepower in terms of elite firepower, first round picks, big time deals to kind of take advantage of that title window. The Packers are in a title window right now with Jordan Love. They kind of showed up 2 years ago and made a big run at things. Last year ended in a very disappointing fashion, for being totally honest. So now they got to figure out, okay, we're in a division. The Vikings seem to be a good, solid football team. The Bears seem to be getting a little bit better, a little bit better. And of course, the Lions are going to be good for a number of years now. How do we keep up with this? How do we maintain? We cannot be willing to rest on our laurels and win 9, 10 games a year, 11 games a year. We need to find a way to accelerate, and adding a literal acceleration machine in Golden could help them do that. You're talking about a potential matchup nightmare. Again, this is a LaFleur offense, a Jordan Love offense. They love to be creative. They love to scramble and create big plays. Love himself said the injuries limited it last year. One of the ways to break a defense in those scramble drills is a speedy, athletic guy. I like the fit here for that specific reason. One of the things I know Packers fans love the idea of Ted McMillan if he had fallen to the Packers at 23. My concern with McMillan is that he's sort of he doesn't have the explosive sort of speed, the ability to get open and create space the way you need a receiver to do in this offense, especially when Jordan Love is healthy. Golden certainly can do that to a T. I expect Golden at his absolute worst to be a Sammy Watkins kind of playmaker, a guy who can be an explosive big play receiver, maybe help you out in the return game if needed. I know the Packers are pretty solid there, but I think if you look at his ceiling, he is definitely a Tyreek Hill kind of impact guy. So I think the Packers got a lot of great value here, addressed a need with a very good high ceiling playmaker in Golden.
Yeah, and I can just break down Golden a little bit more. Some really good upsides to this guy. He played both inside and out. Had over 118 snaps in the slot. Had 376 snaps out wide last year. Going back to 2023, also played about 100 snaps in the slot, and then again 175 snaps out wide due to the injury. But this is a guy, he can do everything. He can line up everywhere on the field for you. He can really break the game as far as deep catches. He had 13, tied 15th in the NFL, or excuse me, in college football, as far as a guy that can go down the field, stretch it, make the catch. And again, you think, okay, this guy a little bit on the smaller side. He's not absolutely huge, but can he break up and make those contested catches if he needed to? Really great contested catch win rate percentage, 61.1% there in the blue, showing that's a good rating for him as well. So overall, I think this is a really solid pickup for the Packers. I think he brings a lot to the table, very versatile. I think he does exactly what they need. They got a lot of guys that are okay. They need someone to really separate themselves, put themselves above the pack, really kind of have someone who specializes in one thing in particular, and that's Matthew Golden. He can break the top off defense, be a really good speedster for this Packers team. I really love this for the Packers, and I'm excited for Jordan Love because I think we're going to see a lot of deep balls this coming season.
And one final point to end on, and you really hit it, and I think it's really important, is that Golden, because of his specialty as a big play guy, he doesn't need 120 targets, right? That's one of my gripes against a guy like McMillan, is that he needs a lot of targets. He needs a lot of opportunities to really impact the game, sort of like Stephon Diggs has too for the most of his career as an NFL receiver. Golden's a guy who needs one target to really flip a game. He doesn't need a lot of catches. He didn't get a lot of catches in college on a very good Texas team. Very happy with that. They won a lot. So adding Golden doesn't detract from any of their other receivers or tight ends or running the football at all. It is strictly an addition, and that's very important. A lot of teams, they draft a player. For example, the Chargers drafted Omarion Hampton, the running back out of North Carolina. That's going to take carries away from Najee Harris, a running back they just signed to a deal this offseason via free agency. The Green Bay Packers here, this is strictly an addition, and it's a really smart move.